So what is the real reason why the administration is pushing the COVID shot so hard? Why not just let people choose, right? Let's ask Congressman Greg Steube. Maybe he has an answer for us. Thanks for being here, Congressman.
Thanks for having me. Yeah,
I wish tell us, why do you think the Biden administration... Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I wish I knew the answer to that question. And money usually is the driver for most of the decisions in Washington, D.C. So look no further than Big Pharma and the pharmaceutical companies that have obviously gotten billions and billions of dollars from your taxpayer dollars to create this vaccine, to get this vaccine out. So that can be the only thing that I could possibly imagine. You're hearing now they're wanting to force our military service members, force them to take a vaccine that is only authorized for emergency use. When I was in the Army and deployed to Iraq, they forced us to take the anthrax vaccine against our wishes. And then after a lawsuit, they made it voluntary. I had a horrible reaction to the first anthrax series shot. We should not be forcing our service members to take a vaccine that is only approved for emergency use. So why they keep forcing this on the American people? Let the American people decide for themselves between their doctors and themselves what's best for their future and their bodies.
Yeah, it's funny. Where have I heard that before, Congressman? Oh, wait, their abortion argument to kill babies, they say, leave that between a doctor and the woman. But when you're using an experimental shot to put in your body that we really don't know the long-term consequences of, especially if you have any extenuating circumstances, like if you're a child or if you've already had COVID and had natural immunity, or if the list goes on, right? Autoimmune issues, so on and so forth. There's no choice. It's not between your doctor and you anymore. It's very interesting. They're very selective, aren't they? Congressman, we're here at Turning Point's Student Action Summit. Young conservatives tell me they are worried, really worried like never before about the future of our republic. They see Democrats have the power in Washington, D.C. They hold the House and the Senate and the presidency, as you know. They see that Biden is ruling by what is really fiat executive order. He can't ram through legislation. He'll just turn to his pen. And young people are worried that they may be the last free generation of Americans. I've never seen young people less optimistic, if I'm honest, in light of this administration and feeling like maybe their votes won't count. They don't have that assurance anymore. What can you tell them?
I absolutely share their concern. I mean, the Democrats' plan is open borders. Let's let all these illegal immigrants flood our nation, and we're going to bust them to states and cities and not give members of Congress the information of where they're sending them so that they can then pass H.R. 1, which is their voting elections bill, which would give any person the ability to vote regardless of whether they're a citizen or of our country or not, a resident of the state, because we're going to do away with voter IDs in states like Florida that I represent, and we're going to allow for mail-in absentee ballots with no voter identification cards whatsoever. If that bill ever were to become law, you would see the republic fall because you would never know if the election results were actually true. Thankfully, we have conservative Republicans like myself who are fighting against this. In Washington, you're not going to see that bill pass. They don't have 60 votes in the Senate to get it passed. And you're going to see us continue to work hard in the hopes that we take the House back in 2022. It can be a check on Joe Biden's crazy, unconstitutional executive orders.
Congressman, there's a new Morning Consult poll that found that 1.8 million Americans have turned down jobs due to unemployment benefits that pay them to stay home. Congressman, people sitting at home collecting free money that is paid by productive American taxpayers is never a good thing. But when there are no jobs open, at least it makes us feel good about it. But this is enraging considering there are millions of jobs unfilled. How do we get these people to work?
That is the single greatest issue facing businesses right now, especially in Florida. They have tons of jobs openings. I read an article this morning how there's tons of houses that need to be built, and there's not enough construction workers in Florida to build them. That is the single biggest challenge, and it's because if you're getting paid more to sit at home and get government subsidies, you're going to do that than go work a hardworking job. So I applaud states like Florida that have reinstituted the work requirement. Look, the states run their unemployment compensation systems. The federal government distributes the money, but the states run the system. So the states have the power to be able to determine who should be eligible for the unemployment compensation. So they need to be more stringent,
Right.
like Governor DeSantis recently did in Florida, but continue to have a work requirement, a work check requirement, resume requirement, these type of things to get people out in the workforce and not incentivize them to stay home on government subsidies.
Right. And what about this multi-trillion-dollar budget that Democrats are trying to ram through with no Republican votes? Are you planning to leave D.C. like the Texas Democrats to stop a vote on that?
No, I'll stay here and vote against all of those crazy bills, like the tax increases they want to pass, more trillions of dollars to Green New Deal spending and environmental programs that don't work. Absolutely will not leave to go home. I will stay here and do my constitutional duty and vote against those bills. But I don't think they can get it passed. You know, they've been talking about an infrastructure bill since February. We haven't voted on one. I'm here in Washington this week. There's no word or rumor that we're going to be voting on a tax bill, on an appropriations bill. And the entire time I've been in Congress for the last 3 years, we haven't even passed a budget. We've done continuing resolutions to fund the government. And I don't quite frankly think the Democrats have the vote to do it because they know that all the Republicans are going to lock down on all these bills.
All right. Well, Congressman Greg Steube, thank you so much for being with us today. And thanks for your hard fight there for all of us in Washington, D.C.
Thanks for having me.